आपने when you got TB, did you realize that you had TB? कितने महीने बाद आपको टेस्ट किया और क्या कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हुए इसके बाद? आप माइक थोड़ा नीचे, हाँ, थैंक यू. माइक.
First of all, I would like to invite me in this session. About TB, I would like to share my story in very shortly. I was diagnosed with TB in 2013 and had to undergo treatment with older drugs, including injectables. And not only I faced impaired hearing, but also limited treatment. टीबी की जर्नी जो मेरी रही है वो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि एक पेशेंट्स को टीबी होता है. ये एक पेशेंट्स को टीबी होना उसकी पूरी लाइफ को ही चेंज कर देता है. इट्स इम्पैक्ट सो बैडली. मुझे टीबी हुआ 2013 में एंड फाइनली आई वाज क्योर्ड इन 2017. सो आफ्टर सेवरल इयर्स ऑफ struggle and after being prescribed a new regimen containing that is bedaquiline and dramamine, which is 2 new drugs. तो अगर ये 2 दवाइयाँ मुझे नहीं मिली होती तो शायद आज मैं यहाँ नहीं होती. तो ये 2 दवाइयाँ मिलना कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है एंड करेक्ट जो डायग्नोसिस है वो मिलना बहुत ज़रूरी है. 5 ईयर के स्ट्रगल में मैंने काफ़ी कुछ खोया है टीबी से एंड नाउ माई लाइफ इज़ टोटली चेंज्ड. बट येस, मैं ये मैसेज देना चाहती हूँ कि टीबी अगर होता है तो उसका जो एक्सेस है ट्रीटमेंट एडहेरेंस वो टाइम पे होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. प्रॉपर डायग्नोसिस में बहुत डिले होता है जिसकी वजह से एक पेशेंट्स की टीबी जो है काफ़ी बिगड़ जाती है हद तक, जिसे ट्रीट कर पाना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. जैसे कि अगर मैं बात करूँ तो एमडीआर टीबी क्या, एमडीआर टीबी में जिसमें बहुत सारी दवाइयाँ पेशेंट्स के इलाज में काम नहीं करती है तो मल्टी ड्रग रेजिस्टेंट हो जाता है. एंड मल्टी ड्रग रेजिस्टेंस को भी अगर ठीक से ट्रीट नहीं किया जाए तो इट कैन बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू एक्सडीआर. तब और भी ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है उस टीबी को ठीक कर पाना. सो बहुत साल सफ़र करने के बाद में इवन आई हैड टू सर्जिकली रिमूव वन ऑफ लंग्स ड्यू टू टीबी. तो मुझे एक लंग्स नहीं खोना पड़ता अगर मेरा डायग्नोसिस सेम करेक्ट टाइम पे होता तो ये है.
Let's give a very warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
I think Meera made several significant points. One is, every TB patient has to end up taking an average of 20 pills over a period of 9 months. That's a lot of time. And that's why if you don't take them regularly, drug-resistant TB grows. Now, can you tell us, Dr. Pinto, what are the newer drugs that are coming? Some of the older drugs, they devastate your system as she was describing, because while it's helping you, but it's also side effects are tremendous. What's new in TB treatment that we can offer and subsidize? The main thing is those drugs are expensive. How can we bring it across the country and help out?
I think the big leap forward in the treatment of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis was having an all-oral regimen. Individuals earlier would have to have daily injections for 6 months. Those injections were a significant volume, would hurt you a lot. One of the side effects was losing your hearing, which was reasonably common. And there was this loose thing that was just thrown about that you better be deaf than dead. We would trivialize that. There were drugs which were extremely toxic in terms of tolerance. I think what's really changed is the newer and shorter regimen. So it's no longer 2 years. There are regimens which are as short as 6 months now, which are all oral. So there are no more injectables. So there's something called the BPAL regimen, which has been tested with 3 new drugs. There's bedaquiline, there's pretomanid, and linezolid. So bedaquiline is reasonably easily available in India now. I think pretomanid hopefully will come to us soon through the program. And linezolid is something that's already available. So this will definitely shorten the duration of treatment. There is also a move called the 1-4-6 that is being looked at. So 1 month of treatment for latent TB. So if you're infected but don't have the disease, we eradicate that reservoir. 4 months of treatment if you have sensitive TB, that's the routine TB, as opposed to 6, which it currently is. and 6 months versus the 2 years of treatment if you have multi-drug resistant TB. I think these are very exciting days for tuberculosis in terms of the research and development. We didn't have a new drug for almost 30 or 40 years, I think. The first new drug just came out in around 2010, which was bedaquiline, but now there is a pipeline, and hopefully there will be more regimens which are tested and more drugs which will come onto the horizon, which will make lives of our patients a lot easier.
Just one ABC question which I think will help all of us. How do you know that you have TB? What do you need to do if you are, infected, and how quickly do you need to get to a doctor? What are the symptoms? I think that'll help a lot.
So I think the three cardinal symptoms that we generally look for is cough, that's more than 2 weeks, if you have a fever that isn't going away for some time, and if you're losing weight without any other reason. So these are the three basic things that one needs to look for. The second thing that commonly gets ignored is if you have a cough and you go to a physician, the physician gives you treatment. If you're not better, don't just keep jumping physicians. Maybe sensitize your physician to the possibility of TB. Maybe be a little more proactive and ask the physician, could this be TB? If you do have a cough that's productive, you just need to produce a simple sample of sputum. So there's no injections, there's no blood draw, there's nothing fancy. A sputum sample can diagnose TB in as less as 2 hours these days. Once upon a time, we looked at it under the microscope and we missed about 40% of individuals. So it had a sensitivity of 60%, we missed 40%. With the gene expert, with the newer molecular tests, we pick up about 90 to 95% of individuals if they have pulmonary TB. Now, if TB is outside the lungs, then it gets a little more challenging because your symptoms may be slightly different. If you have a swelling in your neck, which is very common, what we call lymph node TB is reasonably common in India. You can have bone TB. You can pretty much have TB from head to toe in any organ. So anything that's prolonged, that's not getting better, don't subject yourself to antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic, or cough syrup after cough syrup, or different experiments. Always test for TB. I mean, it's as simple as giving a sputum smear. Why would you not test?